Hello everybody. I told y'all that we discovered the student portal, so I'm going to tell you how to get into your student portal so you can see your grades and your absences, okay? You go into Clever, but instead of going into the Canvas icon, you scroll down and look for something that says Frontline Student Portal. Once you find something that says Frontline Student Portal, click on that and a screen will pop up and you're looking for the button that says Register because you need to register so that you get your account set up. Okay, they're going to ask you for a bunch of information. One of the things is going to be your birthday. So if you were born January 5th, 2006, I would try either 01, because it's 2 digits, 01 for January, 05 for the 5th, and then 06 for 2006. Once you get all the information in, if it doesn't like it and kicks it out, you may try the 01, 05, 2006. But one of these two it'll take as your birthday. It's going to ask for your student ID. I think that is just numbers only. It's going to ask you for a security question. And that security question is something that it can ask you if it's unsure if that you're who you say you are. So it needs to be something that you know for sure, like your favorite color. And if it's red, make sure you know what the answer is red. Or it's your mother's maiden name, or it's your favorite food or something. But just make sure you know the answer to this question so that if they ask it, you can answer it. Your name needs to be spelled just like the school has it in our system. So if we're not spelling it in our system the way that you spell it, you need to spell it like we spell it. So if there's any question about that, contact me and I can let you know what it is in the system. Your zip code, again, needs to be what the zip code is in the system, which that should be pretty straightforward. But anyway, and then I said your name. So anyway, once you get the registration done, it's also going to ask for your password. So you're going to type in the password once and then type in the password a second time. Use the password that you use for your laptop. So when you sign into your laptop, use that same password. You're going to type it in twice and you need to type it in the same way both times, okay? So hopefully that will get you through the registration. Once you're registered, then you can go and look and see your grades in all your classes. It'll show you your first 6 weeks grades. It'll show you the progress report card going out. You can also look at your current grades in the second 6 weeks, and that is under the column MP2. Let me write this down, MP2. So if you see a column that says MP2, go down and find a particular grade, like for algebra, look for your grade. If you click on that number grade, it will pull up a screen that has all of your assignments with your individual grades for those assignments. So then you can see exactly what you're making for every single assignment. So anyway, I thought that would help. Tomorrow, or today, you're doing this today. We're doing this little worksheet that is trace linear forms, meaning 3 forms, because we have been talking about the 3 different forms of linear equations. You have the slope-intercept form where it's in y equals format. You can see the slope and you can see the y-intercept, y equals mx plus b. Yesterday, or the day before, we did the point-slope form where you have a slope in the middle of the equation and you have an x and a y number of a point that the line goes through. Standard form is the one that we've been giving and changing it to y equals form by doing this solving thing. So whenever they give it to you with the x and the y on one side and we want to put it in y equals format, so we can see the slope and we can see the y-intercept, or we want to put it in the calculator, we do this little solving thing to get us there. So that's where you subtract the x's on both sides, rewrite the x and the number side by side because they cannot be added together, and then come back and divide to get rid of this number, and you divide both pieces over here. And then these fractions reduce down to be your numbers that you have in front of the x and that. So remember, the slope is the one in front of the x, the y-intercept is the number on the end. So on today's worksheet, just to kind of get you going on this stuff, the first section says, write the slope-intercept form of the equation. And they're going to give you the slope and they're going to give you the y-intercept. So they've given you the slope as 0, they're giving you the y-intercept as 1. So this is your equation, y equals mx plus b. You're going to drop in the slope, you're going to drop in the b. So for this one, I've got y equals, 0 is my slope, and then my y-intercept is a positive 1, so plus 1. Now, you notice none of these answers look just like that, but 0 times anything is a big old 0. So if this is a big old 0, 0 plus 1 is still 1. So the equation is just y equals 1. So when you look down here, what's the answer? Yes, it is B. So all you're doing is dropping in the x and the y-intercept into that y equals mx plus b equation, because we're writing them in slope-intercept form, and that's what that one is. This form is point slope, where you can see the x and the y number of a point, and you can see the slope number that is the m. Okay, so the first section is pretty straightforward. The second section, they give you the equation in standard form, which means the x and the y are on one side together and the numbers on the right side. They want you to change it to slope-intercept form, which is, yes, y equals. So we need to solve for y. So 5x plus 2y, I'm going to write it over here where we can see it in a second. 5x plus 2y equals 16. oops, 16. So I've written it over here. We're going to draw the line through the equal sign and go solve. We're going to get the y by itself, so I need to get rid of the x term first. So we're subtracting 5x on both sides. Subtract 5x on both sides. Rewrite everything. The 2y comes down. The equal sign comes down. I rewrite this side by side. Plus, oops, let me hold this for a sec, plus 16. Can't write, I'm almost off the edge of the paper. Okay, so I rewrote it with the 5x first and then the plus 16. I know that's really, really messy looking, plus 16. All right, so then I'm going to come back and divide by 2. When I divide by 2, both pieces get divided by the 2 over here. And then these fractions reduce down. So this is a negative 5 halves x, that is my slope number. And this is 16 divided by 2, which is a positive 8. So I'm looking for a negative 5 halves and a plus 6, negative 5 halves and plus 8. So negative 5 halves, nope. Negative 5 halves, nope. Negative 5 halves, yep. Plus 8, yes, that is my winner right there, that one. So on these, you're just solving each one of these for y equals and finding the equation that matches that. So we're going from standard form into slope-intercept form, which is your y equals format. And again, that's that poster that shows you step by step how to do that. All right, on the next page, they're giving you some variety of ones here. They want you to write it in slope-intercept form. So again, this is going to be y equals format, right? Okay, so they give you a point that it goes through, and they give you the slope. Now, I know that we could go write this in point slope first and then go solve for y. And that is a perfectly good way of doing this, no doubt about it. But let's go see, if, since all these are already in y equals format in the answer choices, here's the slope is negative. Is it negative or positive? That's a positive 4/3. So does this have a slope of 4/3? No, that one has a slope of negative 2. It is not it. Does that have a negative 4/3? Yes, but I want positive 4/3, so that is not it. Does this one have a slope of 4/3? Yes. Does this one have a slope of 4/3? No, this one has a slope of 2, so it is not it. So did I need to do any work at all to find that answer? No, other than just knowing the slope and where it goes in the slope-intercept form. Now, this next one we may not be so lucky with that. The slope is 2/3. So here's a slope of 2/3, that works. This one is not a slope of 2/3, that's a negative 5. This one is, another slope of 2/3, and this one is not the slope. So I've got 2 equations that are left in the hunt. Now you may say, okay, how am I going to do it from here? Again, you could have gone and made the point slope form and then solved it for y. However, we have a graphing calculator. We don't have to do that. Are both these equations in y equals format? Could I just type it into the calculator and go check the table and see if the table has x is 3 and y is negative 3? Yes. One of these 2 equations will match that point on the table. So that's all you got to do for the second point. Get rid of anything that you can with the slope number, see what equations are left, and then go type the equation in the calculator, the graphing calculator, the Desmos one, and go check the table. Remember that little gear icon-y thing, and then look at the little table and see if it goes through 3, negative 3. If you don't know how to use the Desmos calculator, you need to email me and let me know that so we can do a Zoom meeting and go over that, okay? Because it's real simple to use and it's real easy, but you need to know how to use it. So all of these are kind of doing the same thing there. When we get down to the next section, they give you 2 points, and again, we're looking for y equals. Now, most of these are in, well, some are in y equals format and some are in slope-intercept or point slope form. So here's a point slope form, here's a slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, point slope form. But if I find the slope, I might be able to rule some of these off. And so that's what I would do, is go find the slope. And of course that is y minus y over x minus x. So I'm going to do my y minus y over x minus x. So if my points are a negative 2 and a 0 are my 2 y numbers. So negative 2 and 0 go on top. My x numbers are negative 3 and 2. They go on bottom. You can put this whole thing in the Nspire calculator. When you're doing the scientific calculator, you're doing the top part, get a number, do the bottom part, get a number, and then divide the 2 numbers in the end. This wound up being a negative 2 over a negative 5. And negative divided by negative makes this a positive 2/5. So I'm looking for an answer that has a positive 2/5. This one does, that one does, this one does not have a slope of 2/5. This is just y equals negative 2. There's no slope number in this one at all. And then we have 2/5 in that one. So all of those worked. Now, I'm looking for one of the points. Here's the negative 3 and 2. So this number, remember it's in point slope form, the formula is x minus. So this is a positive 3 and a positive 2. So the point in this one is 3, 2. Is that the point that it says it goes through? Nope. Let's see about this one. The y number in this one is not there, so that's a 0 for the y number. And my x number is a Remember, this is two negative signs that give me the positive, so this is a negative 2. And negative 2, 0, is that one? Nope, I had a 2, 0, which is the wrong sign on the 2. So if I look at this last one, this is the double negative again, so my x number is a negative 3. And the y number is also the plus sign gives me a double negative, so that's a negative 2. So my point is negative 3, negative 2 on this one. Is that my point, negative 3, negative 2? It is. So D was the correct one on this one that went through the right point based on what they gave me as information. So you can do these kind of doing that by finding the slope number first and then rule off anything. And all these are in y equals format, so this is going to be real easy on the rest of these because you just find the one that has the right slope. And then if you need to, you can also check the table because all of these are in y equals format, so you could just put them in the calculator and look at the table and just see if they match the 2 points. So if you want to, you don't even have to find the slope. You could just put them in the calculator one at a time, check the table, x is 5, y is 2, x is 4, y is negative 3. If both those points are in the table, then that's your winner. Same thing with these. You can just put all the equations in the calculator, one at a time, check their tables. So if they're in y equals format, don't be afraid to use that graphing calculator and check the table. It is your friend come STAAR test day. Bye, everybody.